Welcome to another edition of Talk to the Town. And tonight we got a very special guest in studio with us. And before we get talking to our special guest, which is Nellie Richards, we're going to just give you a lineup of what we got on for you tonight. We're going to first have a live interview with Nellie. And then we're going to go to some taped interviews we have with Barry Oak of the South and Central Foundation. The Red Cross, where I went and donated the 50th donation of blood, and Rob followed me through with the camera. And then we went to the Robinson Blackmore in Grand Falls, and we taped the making of the local newspaper, the Nor'Wester. And after that, we went to one of our local radio stations, the VOCM, and we went live on air with Dean Clark, and you'll see us talking to Dean Clark as he's doing live show on air. Now, Nellie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Now, we got a fine machine in front of us here, and I take it that this is what we call the kidney dialysis machine. Is this right?
This is the one for peritoneal dialysis. There are two kinds of kidney dialysis. One is hemodialysis, which is dialysis treatment you get in an hospital. And this is the one that you can do at home. It's peritoneal dialysis, where the fluid goes into your body and comes out through this machine.
Now, I guess the best thing for us to get started off with, since this machine is in front of us, can you explain a little bit about what this machine is used for?
This one is used for a nighttime dialysis. We'll just turn it on now and get it going. In my case, I'm on this machine for 10.5 hours each night. Right now, for the past week, I've been on for 12 hours, and well, for the next week, and maybe even another week. I'll just show you a little bit about the machine now. First of all, these are the bags of solution that I use. This is 5 liters in each bag, and I use 4 of these each night. One goes onto the machine here. The machine is a computerized machine. It's done by the Baxter Corporation, and it tells you across the screen everything, each step as you go through it. I use 4 bags. One of these that they opened and placed onto the machine like so. The other 3 are laid across here, and during the night they would all be emptied and go into this one. This one is heated to body temperature. If the solution goes into you when you're cold, and the solution is cold, then you have quite an effect from it, and of course it can't be too hot. This is the cassette system that is used. And this little cassette here, I don't know if you can get a good shot of it or not, but this is actually what does the work. It's this little thing here. And it looks just like a clear plastic, but all of the solution that goes in goes through here, and what comes out as well goes through here. So this goes into this chamber here, like so. This is sort of like a pressurized chamber, I guess. And, this one here, this line here, is connected to another line that I have that goes all the way to the bathroom, and all of the solution just goes on through there. The one with the red clamp always goes to the heater bag, and the other 2, and the blue clamp is always to the last bag, and this is the connection that is made to me. This one. The machine itself is computerized, as I say, and you can go into it and you can make your changes as they're given to you. You make the adjustments. Here we see the last UF, which is last night's reading of 1399 mil. That's a little over 1.4 of ultrafiltration. That's the amount of excess that was removed last night. And it also tells you that last night's treatment at an average dwell time of 1 hour and 23 minutes, and it gives you the time and so on. And that's about it.
Oh, now that covers quite a few things.
Yes.
How it works. Now, Nellie, going through all that, it must take a fair amount of time to get prepared for this. I guess we could call it operation to get to go to bed. I guess this is during the night.
This is during the night, yes. Well, I've been on this machine now for since September, and it's just a routine now. It's pretty simple now.
So one of the questions I wanted to ask you is how has this affected your daily routine? And I guess going to bed at nighttime is a bit different, but.
This machine has been wonderful, really. Before this, I was on a twin bag exchange, which was done daytime, and that took up an awful lot of time. Right now, I do 2 daytime exchanges, and with this machine, basically, you have a fair amount of your life back that you didn't have before.
Now, we mentioned earlier there's 2 types of machine. The other one, you go to the hospital and have your treatments.
That's right.
The one in the hospital, is that like just a 2 or 3 day thing, or is that a daily routine also?
In my case, I went 3 days a week. Each treatment lasts about 3.5 hours. It's hemodialysis. It's where the bloodstream is accessed and your blood is pumped out of your body and through an artificial kidney and returned, and this is a continuous cycle for the 3.5 hours. It's not at all like this system.
And you're saying this one's about 12 hours right now?
Right now, for the next week or so, it'll be 12 hours, but after that I go back to the 10.5 again.
So that's still a fair amount of time.
Oh, yes.
And that's every day?
That's every night, yes.
Yeah, that's it seems to be a long time. Now, like the statistics, I'm sure we hear quite often now, especially coming up in this week, we hear that there's going to be a telethon for a dialysis machine for the central Newfoundland. And we hear that there's quite a few people in Newfoundland that's got to use these machines. Do you have any statistics that you might be able to share with us on how many people is out there that might be in need of this machine?
This particular system, the peritoneal dialysis, there are right now about 90 people in Newfoundland Labrador that are on it. And the other, the hemodialysis, of course, is a greater number than that.
So this machine that we're trying to raise $200,000 for Central Newfoundland, I guess it's quite a needed piece of equipment for this area?
Yes, most definitely.
So I guess if anybody listens to the radio on a regular basis, if they'd like to tune in on Friday morning, they're going to have a open line. Rather than the open line, I think they're going to have a telethon.
That's right.
And George McLaren, the nighttime host, is going to host it. And so you would tell people to call in and donate?
Certainly, yes.
Now, is it the possibility that you might have to avail of this service in there someday?
Oh, it's a possibility, yes.
So we could see a benefit for this local area.
Yes.
Now, do you know, is there anybody else more local like yourself that might be in needing this machine?
Using this machine
yes,
right now?
Well, this type of machinery.
Yes, there's a lady in Springdale, Joanne Mack. She's on a similar type machine as this, and a gentleman over there as well, Mr. Lane, that's also using dialysis of some sort. I don't know if it's the nighttime machine or the twin bag exchange.
Now, for a lot of people who don't know Joanne Mack, she is the dietitian of the hospital in Springdale. She's also hopefully one of our future interviews. Hopefully we can get her in to discuss the dietitian side of the effect.
Yes.
But I didn't realize that Joanne was involved in one of these machines. So the people that are involved in them, you can't really tell. They're just act normal life.
That's right, yes.
And most of this goes on nighttime.
Yes.
Now, we understand you don't have to visit the hospital, but anybody who's got to visit the hospital, what's involved in their visit in the hospital?
Well, I was on the hemodialysis for 5 months. It was quite difficult. A lot of side effects from it, and you would get quite sick. And the thing that I remember the most, of course, is how cold you would get. The first thing you would do when you go in for your treatment is, when you found out where your machine was for the day, is go outside and get blankets so you could cover yourself up with, because you would get extremely cold. Then, of course, they would monitor you every half hour, checking your blood pressure and so on, because your blood pressure could drop quite fast. So that would be something, that you had to deal with. That would happen when the machine would take too much fluid too fast, and it would drop quite low. And be careful with what you would heat and so on, as you get sick. It wasn't very nice, really.
Now, we hear this type of things every day. You talk about different machinery for hospitals and things, but really, I guess you don't know what each machine is needed for and is necessary for until you really experience it. Nellie, was there a time that you never thought you might need a machine like this?
Oh, I never ever thought I would. I had, as far as I knew, up to last January, I had no problems whatsoever with my kidneys. That proved to be different, of course. And the day that I walked into the hemodialysis unit for the first time, I think that's when I realized just what lay ahead for me. And it was quite an eye-opener.
So again, getting back to the type of things that we have to raise money for with this type of telethon that's coming up, we know the government is not putting any money into it, only just the operating budget for the machine. And again, we'd like to stress that it's very, very important that people support this type of effort to raise the money to put this machine in central Newfoundland.
Oh yes, there are, I believe, 30 to 40 people in central Newfoundland that could avail of the machines there.
Now, right now there is not one in Grand Falls, right?
No, there's only the unit in St. John's and Corner Brook.
So anybody who's from this area has got to travel either St. John's or Corner Brook.
That's right.
Now, to travel to St. John's, I'm sure it must be fairly expensive. So, what type of cost would you be talking to go in 3 times a week? Would you go in and stay, or?
Yeah, you would have to stay in there. You wouldn't be able to come back and forth. I stayed in there for the 5 months. It was quite expensive, yes. You not only had the expenses in there, but in my case I also had expenses out here as well. All together with the medications and all of the expenses, the rent and everything, it cost about $15,000 for 3 months.
And
5 months, I'm sorry.
Now, Nellie, that's roughly $3,000 a month.
Yes.
And I guess that becomes quite a burden on a person when they're off work.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you had quite a bit of help from our area around here in this case.
Oh yes, I received a donation from the Emergency Medical Association. They gave me $300. I received a donation from the Salvation Army Men's Fellowship of $100. And the Pentecostal Church gave me $200, and I had several donations from individuals as well.
So again, you mentioned the emergency medical assistance program that we have here. Again, I guess we could say that that's another great help that we've seemed to come across in this area, and another way we can help create, alleviate problems for people that needs to go to St. John's or Cornerbrook in special cases like this.
Oh yes.
And hopefully Dennis and the crew is watching that looks after this. And Dennis, you can take it that this is one of the cases that you guys have helped over the year. Now, I'm sure that when you first came upon the problem when you went to the doctor, what was the doctor's decision on kidney transplants?
Well, in my case, I have to wait at least another year before I would even be considered for a transplant. And the reason for that is because I had cancer, and I had to make sure that there's no trace of it back. After that, then it'll be a decision that I will have to make along with the doctors, whether or not to go ahead with going on the donor list and hopefully a transplant.
Now, I guess, would you have any type of statistics on the waiting list for donor transplants for kidneys?
No, I don't. No.
Because as far as I know, I checked on it today, and I never got the answer back from what the people I was expecting. But I do think that there's quite a long list on this donor.
Oh yes, there is. Yes.
So if there's anybody out there that that's not that doesn't have their donor card signed that they get with their license, and you think that you might sometime like to donate any part of your body that can be useful to any person. Now this is a situation where you see that it could come into help right here locally. So if you think you might be interested in donating any part of your body, that card is an important thing that you could consider signing. Now, if and when you have your transplant, would you have to use a dialysis machine still?
No.
And I guess that would mean you would be free to live a normal life, and I guess maybe a few trips back to the hospital.
Oh yes, yes. But if the transplant went well and your body didn't reject a kidney, then it would work as normal as if it was always there, you know.
Yes. Hopefully that doesn't reject the.
Yes.
Now, having to go through all this process nighttime, how does it make you feel? Getting up in the morning, are you still as energetic as you always were, or is you?
Oh, I think I'm more energetic. I'm just thrilled that I wake up every morning. It has no effect really on you. You don't know it's happening. Nighttime, I have 3 liters of this going in at a time. And daytime, it's 2.5 liters that I always carry. But you don't know it. You don't feel anything. It's just something that you just go to bed and you're just connected to this machine, and if anything goes wrong during the night, the machine will alarm and wake you, and it will be flashed on the screen as to what the problem is, so you just correct it, and that's it.
So this machine is a big part of your life now?
Oh, it is my life, yes. I'm fine as long as this works. When this stops, that's it.
Now, I noticed you came in here, you were looking for a plug-in. What happens if the power goes off during the night?
Well, I had a recent incident of that, where the power was off for quite a while. The machine itself is programmed, and if it was working, it'll hold all of its information and things for up to 3 hours. After that, you would have to disconnect, and you would lose everything that was into it. In my case, when the power went off recently, I was very, very lucky that somebody thought of me and brought a generator. And we had that hooked up and had the machine going when the power came back on.
So that was quite a great thing, because we did experience more than a 3-hour blackout at that time.
It was, yes.
No, I just wondered if these things were emergency battery packed.
No, only for the 3 hours that they'll retain everything.
So again, that's another important thing to remember. Hopefully that the power doesn't go off. And if the power goes off in this area again, you can always, anybody out there with a generator, maybe the same person that's out there knows who you are. Thanks for doing it. And maybe next time somebody will take it upon themselves to do the same thing, and hopefully they'll always be there to remember and look after you.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Now, I'd like to say thanks for coming in and showing us about this machine and telling us the story. And hopefully down the road in another year or so, after you've spent your year on here and you decide if you go for kidney transplant, we can have you back and hopefully see the results of this machinery and the type of donations that we continue to put into our South and Central Health Foundation.